Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Smith and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then welcome. I'm so glad you found me. I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you today. In today's crafting adventure, I'm going to show you my take on a breast cancer awareness ribbon wreath. I had so much fun putting this together. I have been wanting to make one for the past couple years and I finally got around to it. Now next month, October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I wanted to get a jump start and make sure that I had something beautiful to display. All of the materials, with the exception of the ribbon, came from Dollar Tree. Let me show you how to make it. To get started, you're going to need one of these ribbon wreath forms that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. Now I did a little addition here. I took some of the floral wire. Now this is the wider, thicker floral wire. This is very bendable. You get 6 feet and they have several different colors to choose from. It doesn't matter what color because it will be covered. And I'm going to wrap the base, come up, around, and down. So I want this part to look like it's on top of this one. So I needed something here so that when I wrap, I can continue to wrap this section. So I just took the wire, I wrapped it around this corner, wrapped it around this bar, and then secured it on this corner and cut it off. And then did the same thing to this side. So when I start to wrap my base, I'll start here and just follow the ribbon up and around. And then when I get here, I'll just go underneath and then continue to wrap down. Okay, so that's why you need to put those two there. We're going to be covering the base in this really pretty decorative nautical rope. I really like this color. It's a little on the beige side. Now these bundles that I'm going to be using are the 6.9 foot bundles. Now these are a little bit larger. They do also have one that is 11 feet and something. I only have like 3 packages of those and I'm afraid that's not enough. I do have 7 packages of this one and I'm hoping that will be sufficient to cover the base. So I'm going to start down here, turn it over so I can start to glue my rope on the back. I'm just going to add some glue right here on the bottom of my wreath frame. And I'm going to place my rope right in there so I can get that secured and started. Now the rope comes with a little bit of black tape on the end. Because I'm gluing this onto the back, I'm leaving that black tape on so that the end does not start to fray on me. Okay, so I have that connected. And now I'm going to simply wrap my way up the frame. You want to add a little bit of glue as you go. You don't want it to slip on you, especially in the beginning. Now this rope is nice because it's nice and soft, so it's easy to do a nice tight bend and to shape it as you work with it. In the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials I used to complete the project. Once you have your end nice and secure, just continue to wrap, and you want to tack it down as you go. You want to make sure you keep it nice and close and even, and just wrap up as far as you can go. If you enjoy craft tutorials and hauls, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do upload new content every week. And if you hit the notification bell when it pops up, you'll be the first to know every time I upload new content. I have one package of rope on and it covered one of the little legs here. Now you want to end it in the back, and I did trim it, so I put a lot of hot glue over the end where I trimmed it because I want to make sure that does not come apart on me. I also glued it to the other rope that was right next to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and start my next one and just glue that right next to where I ended and continue on wrapping. So just continue wrapping. As I get up into this area where I added the extension, I will come back and show you how to wrap that. Okay, I'm still on my second piece of rope, and as you can see, I'm wrapping through this center here, and I'm using the 2 bars that I tied on to wrap it around. So this way, this will look like it's laying on top of this one as it comes down. And you just want to make sure to glue it down on each of the bars, and if you have to, you can always glue it to the rope that's next to it to keep it in place, especially when you're going around the other bars. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to wrap. And when I need to, I'll add another rope and continue to go. When I get to this area, I will show you how to manipulate between here and here. Okay, I've run into a little bit of trouble as I'm coming around the curve. Now the outside curve is much wider than the inside curve. So once you come and you get to the point to where you're hitting the curve, every other one you'll want to come and wrap around the center bar and glue it down, and then the next one wrap all the way around the form. And when you do that, you'll need to glue it to the rope that's next to it to make sure that it fills in that space and holds in the right position. So I just lay down the glue and push it over and hold it for a few minutes with my thumb, and then wrap it around. So then the next time I'll go and just wrap it around the 2 bars on the outside, and it's just around in the curve area. So on this curve area and then this curve area, the rest of the way you'll be fine. It's just because the outer curve is wider than the inner curve, and then this way everything will lay nice and smooth. Okay, I'm down to this part where I'm going to transition from this side to this side. Now this is at an angle again, so I did 1 loop here, then I only went around the 2 outside bars, and now I'm going to fill that in. Just add a little glue there and glue it to the rope next to it. Then I'm going to do 1 more loop all the way around. And then I'm just going to pull the rope on the back, crisscross down to this corner, and then start wrapping and finish wrapping the bottom here. Pull it around. I'll come all the way up, and then I'll continue down this arm of the ribbon. Now this is not difficult, but it does take some patience because you have to tack the rope down as you go to make sure that it lays the way that you want. But I think the finish is so pretty. This rope is so soft and nice to work with. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping this last arm of my ribbon. I have my base all done. I think it looks so pretty. I'm very pleased. Now I used the 6.9 feet Nautical rope, and this is the white. Well, it's not white, but it's the whiter rope. And it took me all of my 7 packages. This is all I had left. But I'm very pleased with how it looks. The back is pretty clean too. You can see where I started and stopped each of my pieces of rope. But I'm really happy with that. It was really nice to work with, nice and soft. Go ahead and set that aside. You're also going to need a wooden word. This one says hope. I painted this with a basic white acrylic paint and did a little dry brushing with some khaki over the top, and then a little bit more dry brushing with the white. I really like the texture and that little bit of depth. We're going to work on our bow now. I picked out these 2 absolutely gorgeous ribbons. I got these from craftoutlet.com. They don't have names, but they do have item numbers. I will include that in the description box below. This is 2.5 inch wired edge, and this is 1.5 inch wired edge ribbon. You also need a full length pipe cleaner. And today I'm going to be using my Easy Bow Maker. I really like this tool. It makes it much easier for me to make a bow. I do have arthritis in my hands, and this helps because it holds the bow for me. Okay, I'm going to start by measuring out my tail at 8 inches, pinch, and then you place it between the 2 large dowel rods. Now this ribbon is one-sided, so once you come through you need to twist so that the knife side is facing down. And I'm going to make this, let's see, a 6-inch bow or a 6-inch loop. And you come through, twist so the knife side is facing down. Measure your 6 inches. Adjust your loops if you need to. Now I'm going to make 2 loops on each side with this ribbon measuring at 6 inches. Once you have your 2 loops on each side, then measure out your tail at 8 inches and cut. Now we're going to add this really pretty pink ribbon. I really like these. They're very similar with the prints, but I like that this has that solid pink background and this has more of the burlap background. Okay, for this one I'm going to measure my tails at 6 inches. Slide that in. And again, this is a one-sided ribbon, so I'm going to go ahead and twist. Now this is a very nice, it's fabric. I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And these I'm going to measure at 5 inches. So I have one loop of 5 inches on either side. now I'm going to make 2 loops on either side with the same ribbon, but I'm only going to make them at, let's see, about 3.5 inches. Okay, so we have a loop that measures 5 inches and then 2 loops that measure at about 3.5 inches. Now we're going to do one more loop. This is going to be our center loop for our bow. So this one I don't want it to be very big, only about 1.5 to 2 inches. So yeah, about 2 inches. Okay. And then because this is the center bow, when you bring it back through, you're going to bring it through the small dowel rod and the large one. And you don't need to twist, because now we're going to measure our tail and cut that at 6 inches. So you can see I wrapped it around that rod. You need a little bit of the fabric on this side when you tie it so that the bow does not come apart. So that's why you wrap it around. And then that also gives you your tail on the correct side. Okay, so just double check all your loops. Once you're happy with them, grab next to the center, lift up a little bit, and then take your pipe cleaner. Go ahead and put that underneath and kind of wrap it around the side a little bit. That'll help you pull up. You want to keep your bow stacked. Make sure you get that little piece. Sorry about that, my battery died. So you want to make sure you keep all your ribbons stacked. You want to wrap your pipe cleaner around nice and tight and pull it to the back and give it a good twist. And you see I have that one little piece on this side that's keeping the whole bow together. Okay, now you want to just go ahead and pull down your tails and open up your loops. I just like to kind of keep my thumb in the middle there and hold in the center so I don't over pull or pull anything out. And just spread open your loops. Okay, so you open the 2 big ones in the back, and then you have the smaller, bigger ribbon, and you open the 2, and then you have the one in the middle with your tails down. Okay, so just go ahead and play with your bow until you get it to look the way that you want. Now if something doesn't lay right, like that's not laying right, just go down to where it comes out and twist it until it lays the way that you need it to. Okay, and that's what your bow should look like. Now I will trim my tails here and cut them at the length that I want once I get it onto the wreath, and I'll do a little bit more fluffing as well. But go ahead and set that aside. So I pulled out a couple pieces of greenery. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but I pulled them out just in case. And then I pulled out 4 stems of some really pretty flowers. And these are just some really pretty pink roses. And then these I thought were absolutely gorgeous. I was only able to find 1 stem, and it is Azalea. Very pretty. And this is a black-eyed Susan. Again, really striking colors. And then I pulled this one as a kind of a filler, and it's called Fall Grass. But I like that it has the little pink flowers and the greenery on it. Now to prep these, I'm probably not going to be using all of the blooms on all of these. That would be a little overkill. So I'm only going to clip just a couple blooms off of each one, and for right now I'm going to leave the stems about 4 or 5 inches long. I can always trim them shorter once I decide where I want to put them. Okay, so I'm going to prep my blooms. I'm going to wait on the greenery until I decide whether or not I'm going to use it. I have all my florals prepped. Now I'm planning on placing my bow right in the center here. I think that'll look very pretty. And I want to have florals coming up this side and coming down this side. But before I get my bow on, I want to get some of my base down. And I'm going to be using this one as my base. So I'm going to hot glue some of this down first. Now that I have my base on, I'm going to go ahead and attach my bow, and I'm just going to simply hot glue it on. And get your bow placed. Now I am going to be filling in with more florals. I just wanted to make sure I got those down and the bow down. Then I kind of know what I'm working with. Okay, I got my bow on. I needed to move it up just a little bit. I'm happy with its placement now. Now I can see I need to add a little bit more of the base down here. To help fill that in, and I think I might add a little bit up there. I have 2 pieces left. Now on the azaleas, I have 2 blooms that are single blooms and they're larger. And then I also have 2 that are long. Now the longer ones I'm going to use more in the background and have them kind of hang off as they come down. And then these I'll use a little bit closer to the bow. And remember, these are fake flowers. You can go in and bend the bloom head to face the direction you want, so it's facing out and not up. So I'm going to start with the long one here, and I want to have this kind of in the background and hanging off on the side here. So add some glue to the stem and feed it in. You now have greenery and the base to glue it to. You can just lift it up and slide it in to get it into the position that you want. Yeah, I like that hanging off a little bit. I have another long one. I'm going to do the same thing down here, but kind of coming off in the opposite direction. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work in the rest of my flowers. I have all my florals in. I'm really happy. Now, I didn't use, the only one that I used a full stem was the small little base that I used. I'm very happy with that. Now, I was looking at my hope, and I don't like it. I'm going to change the color unless I want to put it across my bow, which I don't. I want to put it up here, and it just fades away the color that it is. So I decided I'm going to paint it pink parfait, and then I'll dry brush over the top with some white. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Okay, I'm going to get this whole painted and get it dried, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the dry brushing. Okay, hope is nice and dry. I put a very small amount of white paint out, and I have a dry brush. And this is an old kind of ratty brush, and that's the perfect kind. Just get a small amount of paint, take off any excess, and then just gently brush through your word, all going in the same direction. And then you can go back, and if you need to add a little more to the edges, you can tap it in on the edges. So put in however much you want. If you don't like this look, you don't have to do it. It's whatever you like. I just think this adds a little bit more to it than just being bright pink. I think it softens it a little bit. But it doesn't take much. And there you go. I think that looks so pretty. I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll get it attached to the wreath. And there you go. We are all done. I think it came out absolutely gorgeous. I am very pleased with it, and I like hope in pink better than in white. I think it goes much better with the wreath. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and show me some love in the comments. This really does help support my channel. It lets YouTube know that I have content that's worth watching. Thanks again for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. I hope everyone is staying happy, healthy, and strong. If you enjoy craft tutorials and hauls, make sure to check out these other videos. Thanks again for stopping by. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.